Welcome to Rick's Corner. I have a very good friend of mine today, Mark Andrews, who's been a fitness model, a bodybuilder, a trainer. I mean, he's done it all, but he knows his business about nutrition and training. He's probably the best trainer I know, and if anybody asked me for a good one, I would recommend him. So I pulled some pictures off the internet that he'd done with Joe Weider back in the past and some things that we've talked about, and I want his expertise on certain things that we do in the gym, because you guys watch and you want to know how we trained back in the day, what we do now. And Mark has a long history of training. He knows what we did back in the 70s. He knows what we do currently, because things evolve and become something different. So let's start at the beginning of when you started training. How old were you?
Okay, well, what happened was, I mean, to me, this is the way I tried to figure things out and interpret what. When I was a kid, I was a chubby kid. And, you know, kids would make fun of me. And, I wouldn't take it personal then, but I always knew that I'd figure this out one day, being a young kid, that, you know, this is just nothing, and when I figure this out, I'm going to figure it out. So this was maybe like 8 or 9 years old. So
okay.
I guess maybe like a little after that, you know, I would see like the Arnold Schwarzenegger movies, or I'd see the Stallone movies or something like that.
Yeah.
And you'd see, and you'd have this vision of, you know, oh my God, I'm going to be like that one day. So a little after that, I started to, you know, get into, you know, like running. Maybe I was like 10 years old or something like that, and I'd run, and I would be skinny, but I wouldn't be ripped. I would be like, you know, yeah, but I would be slender where it wouldn't look like I was fat.
Right.
So it still wasn't the answer. And when I was about 16 and a half was when it was like that aha moment. Why don't I work out? So from there, it's like I started to buy the Muscle and Fitness magazines, started to tear the pictures out of the magazines, and look at these pictures 100, 200 times to where I wanted to start to figure this out. And from there, it just progressed to, you know, reading more, working out more, trying everything, working out with partners, figuring everything out to my progression of.
Well, we've all done that. We've all started with the magazines because we were fans of bodybuilding, and the old time guys, what I looked at, like Bill Pearl and people like that. Not that he's really old time, but I mean, he was one of the guys that I looked up to. And back in the day, I don't think we knew a whole lot about diet. Did you?
I didn't know anything about diet. I was so gray. I mean, I would think probably going to Denny's was, you know, my carbs or something like that. I didn't know anything. And my first experience was someone told me about like an arginine and ornithine mix. And I would take this before the workout, and then I would take my bulk force before and my amino force after, and I would just do this and try to figure something out. And I saw myself make gains, but I would never be. It would never be the physique I wanted, but I knew I was progressing towards something.
Well, but when you're training along the road, like you do and I do, and you look in the mirror from day to day, there's times, I'm sure, when you get up and look in the mirror and say, God, I don't look like I can even work out. You know, that's just our mind playing tricks on us. And we know we do, and we know we look okay, but it makes you always focus for more. I mean, I see you in the gym every day, training people and on your own, and I'm in the gym every day. I can't imagine a day not in the gym. I feel better when I'm there.
Well, for me, I'm just like you. I'm a gym rat. I mean, I would be there every day for myself, but I know what helps me a lot is I'm into a lot of other stuff. So I think mental recovery helps me a lot to where I'm into so much other stuff that it balances me out so much that, you know, sometimes I'm into that more, even though I'm at the gym with work and everything. Well, for me personally,
that was my point. With you, you're training people, so you're in the gym. It's like working in the restaurant and staying there to eat. You know, you've got to have that breakaway. Yeah.
Well, as I said, with me, like, I need a lot of recovery. You know, if I work out really hard, the next day I might not be able to work out, you know, just so, you know, and it's kind of like by feeling. I've done it for so long that, you know, give myself that extra day, because it's like I don't want to overlap stuff, and it's like I want to maximize what I do in you know, a minimal amount of time and really get efficiency with what I'm doing.
Now, about 2 years ago, you were heavy.
I was a little heavier.
No, I'm not saying it was a bad thing. Yeah, you got big and got really strong.
Well, I had been training. I'd been training with kettlebells,
That's
and
what I
Indian clubs. Yeah.
Okay, tell me about that.
So, it was about, I'd say about 5.5 years ago, I experienced these kettlebells, and I started to mess around with them, and I started to, read about them, and I was directed towards, you know, to go to some like real good experts in what they do and teach me the technique. And when I learned it, I absolutely fell in love with this technique, because you're moving your body in these dynamic positions where your breathing has to be, in tune with your nervous system, and you're moving these dynamic moves where it's your whole body integrating everything together to where you're working on strength and endurance together. And it really opened me up to so many avenues and possibilities, like, discovering there's space outside of the earth.
Yeah, well, I've seen you do it. I mean, I see some of the stuff you do with the bands and with the bells and all that. And in this past year, you chiseled your down to hard shape again. I mean, like in really good shape. I've told you this.
Yeah.
How's your diet?
My diet is, I like to eat healthy now.
Yeah.
So I think, what I try to do is I just try to have really healthy food, 9 out of 10 times, and that works for me.
And how many times a day?
I have to eat about every 2.5 to 3 hours.
That's normal.
So, I gauge it on if I'm starved at 2.5 hours, that's when I eat. If I'm starved at 3 hours, I mean, it's pretty much, I've trained my body pretty much where it's, on that.
Would you have real food, or would it be like a supplement of a drink or a bar or something like that?
Well, I've learned to be accustomed to putting protein powder in my oatmeal.
Good.
And I've learned that I could get the different flavors out of it in the morning, and I could throw in the almonds, and I just have a mix that works for me. And then I'll make like a shake maybe once a day, or because I like that. Like I can make that like fake ice cream kind of chocolate taste that I've learned to really like.
I put shaved ice in it in the blender, and it's like a milkshake.
That's exactly what I do.
It's definitely good. And it's a good source, whey protein, and I put a banana for the potassium. And like you say, a scoop of vanilla protein on your oatmeal in the morning is like vanilla pudding.
Well, yeah, I mean, I would be happy with, I could really change and vary, but it's what makes me happy, and and it's very simple, and it takes 3 minutes, and it's done, and and I'm on to the next thing, and I could pack my food and be on.
I'm also done in 3 minutes, she said. Do you have anything at bedtime?
Yes, yeah, I do. It depends if I'm up. It depends what it really doesn't matter. I mean, I'm not gonna have a cheeseburger.
I'm saying like a protein drink.
I don't do that because I'll have to pee during the whole night so I tend not to do a protein drink. But if I'm up at 1 in the morning, I'm probably eating at 12:30, and maybe I'll make a huge salad, or I'll put something together with peppers.
But not a protein.
No, and I'll with chicken, or with beef or something like that. So yeah, I know what I like to do is, I know with me, I need a lot of volume because I think I'm a normal skinny person.
Yeah.
So if I want to look a certain way, like if I'm gonna say that I'm gonna go away in a month, I know for me to look the way that I want, I need to maximize everything. So eat as much as I can to put on as much muscle, because I could always figure out if I could cut back here or cut back there, but cutting back on the food and trying to have the couple extra pounds,
it's a science.
That's just hard for me. It's a science.
Yeah, like the viewers out there, I mean, you got to find out where your level is, what works for you, what doesn't, and experiment. It's trial and error. What you do may not work for me, or what I do may not work for them, and it's trial and error type of thing. Your workouts are how many days a week now?
Well, what happens with me is I'm kind of in tune with my body here, so I try to go like 2 days on, 1 day off, 2 days on, 1 day off. And like, let's say if I had to shoot pictures or something like that, I would tend to work up to a peak, like 2 days on, 1 day off, 3 days on, 1 day off, where I'm overtraining up to the point.
Oh, I see.
So then it's like I'm climbing up the hill, I'm going to the plateau a little, figuring it out, and then I'm going to go higher. So I kind of figure it out and gauge it on, and I think that, the enthusiasm for me wanting to look a certain way, I really have that. So
you have that embedded in your head, and you know where you're going.
Yes, and I've done this so many times that it's really easy to just to program things, and the discipline is a lot easier when I've done it so many times that it's like no is no. That's it. No is no.
There's no
no is no.
There's no choice.
It's not no cheesecake.
What did you do before you became a trainer?
I thought I would. It's very funny. I thought I interned at a couple big, huge record companies, and I thought I would. I thought I'd work in the record industry.
Yeah.
And
because you're a guitarist like I am.
Yeah. Well, but I thought I would,
I did
Warner
too.
Brothers or whatever, and it was just such an uncomfortable vibe there that I'm glad that I went another direction.
Yeah, the thing is that you did go another direction, and I want to relay this to people that watch, because all you guys work out, you want to do something with your body, you don't know what to do, and you don't know where to take it, and you had made the cover of Muscle and Fitness magazine,
yes,
Men's Fitness,
yes,
and other publications as well, and posing with models and modeling for bodybuilding, and we're showing these shots as we're talking here. You did some good stuff, and getting on a cover of a magazine is like one of the hardest things in the world.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Getting in a magazine is hard.
I was obsessed, so yeah. It was going to happen.
Yeah, well, I know, and it did happen, and they're really good shots, but what would you advise people who watch, who train, to want to do something like that? Where do they go? What's their step on being seen? Even working out in the gym, maybe submitting an article saying, here's my picture training,
okay, well,
here's who I am.
Today, we're so lucky because, we live in an internet world where, a picture could do so much. But it's just trying to learn, I think, everything about your craft to where you can learn to be your best and don't lie to yourself. Right. Be honest with yourself and make a goal, and, maybe make out a couple goals that this is what you want to do by this time, and just start to, put it out in the universe and let it manifest itself, and to where it's like you set a goal, you put it out there, you make yourself accountable, and, you go in a direction where it's like you're going to keep progressing and moving forward, and it's like a goal should be very simple, from point A to point B. It's when you make it too complicated that it gets all over the place, and then there's a bigger, better deal somewhere else where it's like, no, stick with your goal. Exactly. From point A to point
B.
And
as you're talking, I'm thinking, you viewers out there's a lot of guys in really good shape, and you want to be seen. I'll tell you what, you send me a picture, and what I'll do is do Bodybuilder of the Week with whoever I think is worthy of being on my show, and I'll post your picture for you, and you'll get a little bit of fame out of it, and we'll see what we do. So Bodybuilder of the Week, and send me your picture to rick@rickdrasin.com, and I'll post it, and we'll go from there. So if you think you look good, send it to me. We'll have fun with it. Now, we're talking about training. You've been training people for some time.
I've been a trainer for 19 years.
Yeah, and I see that your clients all get good results.
Yeah.
And I've seen trainers whose clients get no results.
Well, the thing is, I'm a little different. First of all, I'm probably, obsessed to always find an answer that goes beyond. Mm-hmm. So if I know there's something out there that I'm interested in, I'm going in that direction. And I've been this way with everything my whole life. So, me as a trainer, I want to be. I think that I've always tried to legitimize personal training. Yeah. And and what I look at, what I do is I'm like an artist of like the physical culture and physical movement, and trying to get a normal person. What excites me is trying to get a normal person to move like an athlete, or to move to show them that they could do it, have the confidence, and then see the results. Right. So it all really goes together. And my thing is injury-free. Why is this person's knee hurting? So is it a hip problem? Is it an ankle mobility problem? Right. I mean, and I think that excites me more than someone losing 50 pounds. Right. Is me understanding the human body,
what they need,
and what they need,
and what they can't do. And what about training heavy? What's your feelings on training heavy?
I think training heavy is great, but the number one thing to training heavy is you got to have control.
Yeah.
And
don't throw the weight up.
Yeah. And don't get weird with people squatting. Asking people to help you squat if you can't squat. You got to be. You got to take reality for what it is. And you progress as good as you can, but not being ridiculous and let's try 3 plates if I've only done 1 and stuff like that.
Some of the guys like Rich Piana, Dave Hafner are going down to lighter weights with like 30, 40, 50 reps. Have you tried that?
I've done all that stuff.
You like it?
I do. I think that change for us is so good because we adapt, and our
like
the
quickly
way
we adapt.
Yeah, the way we're programmed is to learn very fast and do it the easiest way. So I think the more that we change our routine to challenge us, I think that's really good in our development, even our mind, the way we think.
Right.
And it's really good for us to challenge our nervous systems, and push ourselves beyond, so we don't get used to that. So we really develop. and have that hypertrophy development.
And positive attitude is a big factor.
Yeah.
You got to be positive. You can't be negative. You can't put other people down who you think look better than you by trying to make yourself look better, because we get that a lot as haters on YouTube's. And you got to accept everybody to what their ability is. Not everybody has the best ability to develop themselves. So you encourage them to do a little bit better, and you help them. I love helping people in the gym when they need help. And pretty much that's it. There's a lot of people who become trainers and they don't look like trainers, and they don't look like they should be trainers, and we get those as well. It's not a quick buck. You've got to make people work hard. You've got to keep them motivated. You got to give them results if you want them to stay with you. You just don't take their money and look away. And I know when I see you train, you're really, really focused. And like I said, you've got a couple of people lately who, like John, for example, has done phenomenal, and Michael looks great. I mean, he's in good shape. So you've got people that look really good.
Thank you. And, I think that we have to treat the gym like a temple. Like that is our place to worship our bodies.
Yeah.
And when you walk in, your place of worship, you have to do the work. You can't. You don't just go there and walk in the room and expect things to happen. It's like
happen
no.
Like that.
You have to put your mind to what you're thinking, and it's the same thing with the gym. You have to think about what you're doing, and your mind and your body have to go together and do something. And I think that if you do, within 2 or 3 weeks of someone starting, they should see results every workout.
Oh, absolutely.
There should be a physical change.
Especially if they do their homework and eat right.
Yes,
that's
absolutely.
a big factor.
Absolutely.
All right, so where can we find you? Like on Facebook?
You can find me on Facebook.
Mark Andrews?
Yes, and also I have a website, markandrews.net.
Markandrews.net. And if somebody wants to train with you, that's how they can reach you.
Yeah, there's a lot of logistics to work out for me to it's I want to audition the person for me.
Oh, I know.
And
I'm just saying to put you together with somebody else.
Absolutely.
That's where they could find you.
Absolutely. And it's I think that in our business we need to have role models. I think that's the most important thing, because we need to understand that we need to move forward, and we need to look at somebody and say, I respect that person, and I want to be that person and then be better than that person. And it's a healthy competition that makes you better yourself.
Exactly. You want to be the best you can be.
Yes.
Well, I want to thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
This has been really good and very informative, and markandrews.net is where you're going to find him. I also want to remind you to go to rickdrasin.com. I have a store with all kinds of novelty bodybuilding shirts at this time, Golden Era Bodybuilding, and don't bug me when I'm training. I've got the Gold's Gym work
You should have wore that today.
I know. And I've got supplements. I got a book, Bodybuilding for Dumbbells. It's a very 24-page pamphlet that tells you how we trained back in the 70s for $10 Buy it. And stay tuned next time. And remember, send me your photos, and if you're worthy of the Bodybuilder of the Week, I'll put it up. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you so much.
I love this. Thank you so much. And you guys stay tuned for more Rick's Corner. We'll be back with you next week.
It's rickdrasin.com. He is the equalizer, baby. See you next time.